Hi, my name is Mike and welcome to this video on learning to code. And I guess you're right at the beginning because you've come to the video called How to Start Coding. Anyway, welcome nevertheless. My name is Mike. I have a website out there called alittlegreyhair.com. Follow me on Twitter at alittlegreyhair and we can share some coding stuff together. Why come to me? Well, hey, you found me. But one thing that I've noticed on many coding courses that folk or the instructors don't show us how to code for the search engine, so I'm going to show you some of that as we go along. So for this very short video, I've got some learning objectives for you. First, understand what tools you need to start coding. Then name 3 codes that that are used to build websites, and that's what we can learn as we go along, and describe what each of these codes does. So first, what do you need to start? Well, you'll be glad to hear everything is free. First, you need a text editor, and there are quite a few online, many free, or in fact all of them free. You need a modern internet browser. I'll come on to that in a moment. You need a thirst to learn because this is sort of exciting stuff, but it does take some time, and you need some patience to carry on. Okay, so please have a thirst to learn and a thirst to learn every day. That would be really cool. So text editors, there are a number on the market. Mainly free, so the basic ones are at the top, Notepad or Notepad++. I do rather like Text Wrangler, and that's what I'm going to be using on the next couple of videos. I've also used Brackets and Sublime, but my real favorite is Visual Studio Code, or VS Code, and we'll be sort of using that later on. But all we need is a sort of more basic one at the moment, Text Wrangler. Please find it on the web and download it onto your machine, because that's what I'm going to be using. No need for anything posh right now. Okay, so Text Wrangler is what I'm going to be using. In terms of internet browsers, well, the two that have excellent development tools are Google Chrome and Firefox. I love them both and use them both, but for these videos coming soon, I'm going to be using Google Chrome. So please have Google Chrome and Text Wrangler as your text editor, and then we can follow each other along quite easily. So what are the codes that make websites work? These are the sort of basics of the web. HTML, hypertext markup language. This provides the structure to a website. And I've provided some examples. You've got headings and paragraphs, but also there's images, links, lists, tables, etc. So HTML provides the structure, whereas CSS provides the styling to the HTML elements that we write. What does that mean? What does styling mean? Well, we can add colors and different fonts. We can add margins and borders and shadows and spacing and all sorts of things. So CSS is a beautiful thing. I can show you an example, real world, in just a moment. And JavaScript is so much fun. It's a bitch to learn, but it provides interactivity onto your website. So I've provided a couple of examples there. It makes forms work, it makes buttons, or it makes your website do things when buttons are clicked, and so on. But that's some way down the line. So let's learn HTML first, then CSS, and then we'll progress to JavaScript. What does HTML look like? Well, hey, I've provided some information here, okay? It looks complex because you've never seen HTML before, and that's fine. But look, 1, 2, 5 lines down. So you've got div, data, current, operand, and then a whole bunch of 8s, and then a decimal point. And just below that, you can see buttons. So there's 4 buttons, and each one it says shadow. One's a circle do, one's circle cancel, the next one's circle cancel, and then a circle do. So don't worry about what it all means at the moment, but I just want to show you what HTML looks like. Because on the right hand side, what we can see is a whole array of buttons. And above it, there's a whole bunch of 8s with a decimal point. And where is all that coming from? Well, it's coming from our HTML. Now, it looks a pretty crappy calculator right now, but when we add some CSS, guess what we can do? Well, wow, what a difference. Okay, so I styled this retro-looking calculator purely with CSS and based on the HTML that you've only just seen. So the code here on the left-hand side is just a small snapshot of some of the CSS that made this retro calculator look as cool as it does. Okay, and we'll come on to CSS later, so don't worry about that. But just to show you what we can do with simple HTML and CSS. However, this calculator doesn't do any calculations. It just looks pretty at the moment, and that is where JavaScript comes in, because JavaScript makes things happen on the sort of on the web page or in the browser, and this is just one function, if you like, from JavaScript. There's a whole bunch more to make the calculator work, but you can see there's no bunch of 8s and a decimal point anymore. There's a 9 and 11.25 because the calculator is in action. So back to the learning objectives. What I wanted you to do is understand what tools you need to start coding. Well, I've expressed the opinion a text editor and a modern browser. They're both free. So let's go for Text Wrangler first. And also we'll use Google Chrome. We can use others in the future. Name 3 codes that are used to build websites. Well, hypertext markup language, otherwise known as HTML, CSS, which stands for cascading style sheets, and then there's JavaScript. And what does each one of these do? Well, HTML provides the structure, CSS provides the styling, and JavaScript provides the interaction. So that's it for now. I think I've covered about 6 or 7 minutes, so that's long enough to take all that in. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.